Hi, my name is Bailey Thomas, and today I will be discussing companies' efforts to eliminate the gender pay gap and improving diversity and inclusion within the workplace by specifically looking at the company Gap Incorporated. Since first opening in 1969, Gap has continued to lead the way in efforts to eliminate the gender pay gap. Gap is a company from which others can look to for lessons in furthering their own efforts for equal pay and supporting women to rise in the ranks. While Gap has demonstrated itself as a leader in this specific sector, there still remains additional space to grow. In fact, achieving gender pay equity and improving diversity and inclusion efforts are both an ongoing, ever-changing process and journey that requires steadfast commitment. Gap's company story highlights important factors in leading to equal pay. First and foremost, it has been successful in supporting women through the ranks, which is critical to eliminating the gender pay gap. Since Doris and Don Fisher founded the company, gender equality and women in leadership has been the norm. At Gap Incorporated, women in leadership serve as role models, serving to inspire and help retain women at all levels of the company, as well as provide support in recruiting, mentoring, and supporting women and sponsoring women. Female pioneers at Gap, such as Doris Fisher and Nancy Green, influence culture and policies at Gap to be more conducive to women not only rising in the ranks, but also staying in the ranks. They have also impact on the development of maternity policies. There continues to be opportunities for Gap leaders to influence gender equality, flexible work, and pay equity. Gap presents itself to its employees as a company that is not afraid to talk on tough issues. The company sticks to and is driven by the values its founders embedded in it from the very beginning. In fact, Gap Wheel allows employees, both male and female, to gather, discuss, and learn tough gender issues in the workplace. Through this, employees and leaders are encouraged to reflect and thus recognize that there is still much progress to be made and challenges when trying to solve equal pay and gender equality. By conducting robust pay equity analysis such as organizational pay gap and like-for-like analysis, the company is able to provide managers with pay data related to their internal team as well as external market. This ensures that the company and its managers are aware of where their employees sit in terms of pay and also empowers its managers in decision making. Since becoming the first Fortune 500 company to announce it pays female and male employees equally for equal work in 2014, Gap has encouraged other employees and companies to follow suit in claiming equal pay. Additionally, Gap signed the Equal Pay Pledge in 2016 at the United States of Women's Summit to take concrete actions to continue to lower the national gender wage gap. And although the company has an excellent track record for equal pay, it recognizes that there is always more work to be done and awareness to be made. In order for the company to excel in its efforts, it must follow the following recommendations. First, the high female representation at Gap has created a high female culture. Although women need to be represented in these various job positions, men also need to be equally represented and not feel left out. Future efforts should ensure that male employees are not at a disadvantage or excluded. Instead, males should be included in discussions and strategies and be granted equal access. Although Gap does engage men in daily conversations about gender equality and its efforts to eliminate the gender pay gap, it can always do better. In doing so, it is important for men to understand the difference that thinking that they are not part of the problem is not the same as being a part of the solution. Women have been doing the heavy lifting on gender equality work for years, so it is now time for men to join in doing the work. Thus, by working together, a world is created where everyone is safe and where everyone can reach their fullest potential. Secondly, GAP can improve its pay equity process by eliminating transparent compensation programs so that all employees understand why they are paid at a certain amount and what others are paid. GAP should consider making pay range available for their employees so that they have an understanding of the low, median, and high pay ranges for their particular role. This would allow for managers to be able to discuss with employees why they are at a certain pay range level and thus empower employees to ask for raises when they feel they are deserving of them given the pay range information. However, if GAP chooses to do this, they will also need to have a plan and protocol in place initially for employees that are not satisfied with their current pay. Third, in order to improve its diversity inclusion efforts, GAP must constantly evaluate its executive team. The makeup of an organization's executive team is a huge signifier to the rest of its workforce. This also influences its customers, partners, and other stakeholders. The top management of a company speaks volumes about the company culture. It is essential for GAP to ensure that diversity is clearly seen and represented amongst its top management. They must ask questions like, are men and women equally represented? What about people from various culture and religious backgrounds? Additionally, the company can introduce a policy for owning a variety of culture and religious practices. To do this, GAP might focus on holidays and celebrations. Although companies typically give employees Christmas Day off, they could also offer floating holidays to accommodate the religious preferences of all employees. When employees feel satisfied with and supported in their work environment, the company benefits from higher employee retention and overall company performance. And lastly, although GAP has done a good job of making sure various voices are heard, it needs to foster to a company culture where every voice is not only heard, but is also welcome and respected. Employees often quit their jobs when they feel that their authentic self and uniqueness is not appreciated or valued. Thus, it is vital to create an environment where they feel a sense of connectedness to the company and its people. GAP must make sure employees feel included and respected regardless of their age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, or cultural background. Freedom of expression without fear empowers companies to not just listen to, but also actively embrace diverse viewpoints. This is very much needed in today's diverse world and society. In closing, to simply put it into perspective, equal pay and gender equality will never be perfectly achieved. They will continuously both require ongoing effort and consistent monitoring. While GAP Incorporated has demonstrated itself as a key leader in this sector, there always remains additional room to grow, as this is true for all companies and organizations. Gender equality and equal pay is not a simple endpoint that can be reached, but rather an ongoing and continuous effort that requires commitment and passion within companies. For over 50 years now, GAP has led the way for eliminating the gender pay gap. By taking these steps and staying true to its roots and values, GAP will continue to lead the way for another 50 years. Thank you.